All right, let's talk about DynamoDB. Imagine it's your first day on a new project. You need to get up to speed, and fast. That's what we're going to do today. No fluff, just the stuff you absolutely need to know to start building right away.
So have you ever needed a database that can just scale, like infinitely, without you having to manage a single server? That's the big question, right? You're building an app and you want it to handle 10 users or 10 million users, and you just don't want to worry about the back end. Well, that's exactly the problem DynamoDB was built to solve.
Okay, here's the plan. First, we'll quickly cover what DynamoDB actually is. Then, we're getting hands-on. We'll create a table, mess around with individual items, and then figure out how to find our data. After that, we'll look at handling things in bulk, and finally, we'll pull back to see the bigger picture. Sound good? Let's jump in.
All right, first things first, before we can build anything, we gotta know what we're working with. So what in the world is DynamoDB?
Okay, so here's the official definition, but let's break it down. The key words you gotta remember are fully managed and serverless. Both of those basically mean the same thing for you, the developer. You never, ever have to think about servers. No patching, no scaling, none of that headache. And the other big word is NoSQL. Just think of it this way. It's not your traditional row and column spreadsheet-style database. It's way more flexible and built for insane speed and scale.
Okay, enough theory, let's actually do something. The very first thing you're going to do on any DynamoDB project is create a table. And to make this all make sense, we need an example, right? So for the rest of this, we're going to build a little database for a movie collection. It's a classic example you'll see everywhere, and for good reason. It's super simple, but it's perfect for showing off all the core ideas. Now listen up, because this is probably the single most important concept in all of DynamoDB, the primary key. You have to get this right. Think of it like a unique fingerprint for every single thing you put in your database. No two items can ever have the same one. This isn't just a rule, it's the magic sauce that lets DynamoDB find one specific item out of like billions in a fraction of a second. So this primary key can have one part, or sometimes two. The first part is called the partition key. The file cabinet analogy here is perfect. The partition key is literally the label on the drawer. It tells DynamoDB exactly which big bucket to throw your data into. Then you can have an optional second part, the sort key. This organizes all the files inside that drawer, maybe alphabetically or by date. When you use both together, you get these really powerful and fast ways to get your data back out. Let's make this real with our movies table. We're going to use the year the movie came out as our partition key. So all the 1994 movies go in the 1994 drawer. Simple, right? Then, for our sort key, we'll use the movie's title. This means inside that 1994 drawer, all the movies are sorted alphabetically. And this is key. The combination of the year and the title has to be totally unique. There can't be two movies in our database with the exact same title and release year. Awesome! Our table is designed, we have our primary key. So, what's next? Well, a table isn't much use without data in it, so let's start putting stuff in, one item at a time. You're going to hear the term CRUD a lot in programming. It just stands for create, read, update, and delete. These are the four basic things you do with data. In DynamoDB, they have their own special names: put item, get item, update item, and delete item. Let's quickly go through each one.
Okay, first up, put item. This is how you add a new movie or create one. You just give it the whole movie record and boom, it's in the table. Now, here's a little gotcha you need to know. If you try to put an item with a primary key that already exists, this command will just replace it. It'll completely overwrite the old one, so be careful with that.
Next, getting data back out. For that, we use getItem. And to use it, what do you think you need? Yep, the full primary key. You have to tell it exactly which item you want. So here, we're asking for the movie with the title, This Is the End, from the year 2013. Because that combination is unique, DynamoDB just zips right to it and grabs it for us. Super, super fast.
But what if you don't want to replace the whole movie record? Maybe you just watched a movie again and decided to change your rating from an 8 to a 9. You don't want to rewrite the title, the year, the plot, everything. That would be wasteful. For that, you use update item. It lets you pinpoint just one or two little pieces of the item to change, which is way more efficient. And last but not least, delete item. This one's pretty self-explanatory. You want to get rid of something, you use this. And just like get item, you tell it the full primary key of the movie you want to delete, and poof, it's gone.
Okay, so we're good with single items. We can create, read, update, and delete them. But that's not always what you need, is it? What if you want to find, say, all the movies that came out in 1994?
how do you do that? This is another one of those super important concepts. You have two main tools for finding groups of data, query and scan, and you need to know the difference. A query is your best friend. It's smart, it's fast, it's efficient. It uses that primary key we designed to go straight to the data, kind of like using the index in a book. A scan, well, a scan is the opposite. It's the brute force dumb way. It literally reads every single item in your entire table from top to bottom, like reading a book cover to cover just to find one sentence. And since you pay for every single read, you almost never want to use a scan if you can avoid it. Seriously, query first, always.
So here's what a query looks like. Don't worry about all the syntax. Just focus on that key condition expression. That's where the magic happens. We're basically saying, hey, DynamoDB, go to the 1994 drawer and give me everything inside. And because the database is physically organized that way, it's ridiculously fast. We can even get fancier and say, and only give me the movies in that drawer whose titles start with the letter P.
Okay, now for the scan. So why would we ever use this inefficient thing? Well, what if we wanted to find all movies released between, say, 1990 and 1999? Our query can't do that. It can only go to one partition key, one drawer at a time. So we're forced to use a scan. The scan will literally read every movie from every year in the whole table, and then that filter expression is like a little sieve that only lets the movies from the 90s fall through. It gets the job done, sure, but man, it's slow and can get expensive because it had to look at everything.
All right, we're making progress. But everything we've done so far is one request at a time. In the real world, that's not going to cut it. You're going to need to load thousands, maybe millions of items all at once. How do you handle that?
Think about it. Sending a separate network request for every single item would be crazy slow. There has to be a better way, right? Of course there is. Why make one request when you can bundle up 25 of them at once?
And this is exactly how you do it. Let's say you've got this huge JSON file with thousands of movies you need to load into your table. Instead of looping through and doing a put item for each one, which would take forever, you can be smart about it. You chop that big list up into smaller chunks of 25 items. Why 25? That's just the magic number. It's the max you can stuff into a single batch write command. Then you send off those chunks and you load your data way faster.
And that's pretty much it. We have covered the absolute core, need-to-know stuff for your first day. You now know how to create a table, how to manage your items, and the right way and the wrong way to find your data. But trust me, this is just scratching the surface.
Everything we talked about today is the foundation, but there's a whole universe of other powerful features out there. Things like global tables, which can copy your database all over the world so it's fast for everyone. Or secondary indexes, which are like creating brand new ways to query your data. You've got streams that let you react to changes as they happen, and even a TTL feature to automatically delete old data you don't need anymore. We've built the foundation. Now the real fun begins. So the only question is, what are you going to build first?